Okay, we have done on functions yesterday. So it's just a basic revision. Okay, so what we studied was that uh, first why functions are needed. Okay, and what are functions? Okay, in programming language. So in order to explain this, I used an example of the restaurant. Okay, where for example, when you enter the doorway, the entrance, okay, there is a person who will greet you, and then you will be taken to a seat. Okay, you will be asked a choice, or you will be taken to a seat. Okay, then you will sit and choose dishes from the menu card, whatever you want to have, and then the waiter takes the orders, and that order goes to the chef. Okay, so to the kitchen, the food is prepared, it comes to you, and after you have it, then you yeah, go for the billing process. Okay, so all of these things are happening very much automatically, right? Like the people know their jobs. Okay, they know their tasks. Okay, they have their own intelligence. Yes, a customer has come, so now it is my turn to do my role. Okay, whether it is to greet, whether it is to take orders, whether it is to serve the food, cook the meal, and whatever it is. Okay, but when we are dealing with machines, obviously machines don't have the intelligence to do it on their own, right? So we have to command them, give them a particular process. Okay, and also another most important thing, after we give the instructions, okay, we automate the thing and stuff. Okay, we avoid the repetition of codes. Okay, and many other functions I'll tell later. Okay, what happens is in the example that I used, you will never see the manager of the restaurant is coming and guiding each person each and every time. Okay, means guiding the person at doorway to greet you, or guiding the waiter of how to take the orders every time a customer comes, right? It is already pre-decided how the work will go on. Okay, the work structure, the flow is already programmed into the mind of people working there. Okay, or take any example of any other place, like for example an office like, of a call center. People know that I have to go at this time, and then I'll be given list, and then I'll start calling. Okay, I have some particular set of targets I have to complete those every day, and after that I will go home. Okay, now each and every day the boss will not come and tell you this is how you do your work, or in a research you have a particular standard operating procedure, right? You are not instructed by your supervisor how to hold a pipette, or how to make a culture, do inoculation, or you do autoclaving. You don't have to learn the same thing every day. You learn it once, things are engraved on your mind, and that's done. Now, every time, whenever is something needed, like for example, you have to make a culture, your supervisor will just tell, now we will do this experiment. Okay, you know the process, you make the culture. Okay, and now you don't need instructions of how to make the culture, you will just make it. Right, and similarly, suppose you have to do centrifugation. Okay, you know you have to do centrifugation, so you don't have to be guided for that each and every time. You do an experiment, you do the centrifugation with the balancing things by putting the micropivots on the opposite end, and it works. So that's how the thing works. Okay, in coding also, we first construct this. We give a particular set of instructions. Okay, in the particular syntax, and once it is done, we call the functions. Okay, calling the functions means now whenever we need that particular block of code at some other place to work. Okay, means for example, for example, we are writing a very big chunk of code, for example. Okay, like for example 100, 200, like 1,000 lines of code is there. Okay, and there are many places in that code where you might need finding the maximum in the existing numbers. Okay, now not every time you are going to write a some loops or conditional statement. Okay, in order to find the maximum between them. Okay, what you will do in the beginning of the code. Okay, at a particular time. Okay, when you are doing the first time that thing, you make a function where you find the maximum of the given numbers, or the given number of items, right? Something like that. Once you do that, now whenever later, after for example 50 lines of code, again you have to find the same thing. You won't write the same piece of code again, you will just call the function. when you call the function print it, that will do the job automatically, right? So as I've told you, print is a function. Okay, we don't have to write the background code how print works every time. We don't write it, we just call it. Okay, that is called calling the function. Like this is, see, uh, let me tell you, like how you write the syntax. Let me tell you that first. We have to use a first use a keyword called def. Then we have to give a function name, whatever it is. Okay, and always use a underscore. And then time to write parameters. If there are no parameters, then okay. And then you write the statements. Okay, statements here means the particular thing on which you're working. Like for example, as you're finding Armstrong number, okay, or for example, doing APGP. Okay, now you have done APGP. For example, in a particular chunk of code, you have to find APGP 5 times. You are not going to find arithmetic progression by writing the entire formula and enter the numbers and everything every time, right? You will just create a function like this. Okay, you write the statements, required statements in between of finding that only one time, and then you will just return it. And whenever you need it, you just call it. Like for example, you have named the function, let's say series, for example, and then here you will give the parameters. Like for example, how many let's say of the numbers. Okay, for example, of the numbers you have to find the arithmetic progression. Then it will just find the arithmetic progression of it, like whether you need to find the last digit of that progression, or let's say the sum of the entire series. Okay, then you will just write the code piece of code here, and then whenever you call the function, you will pass the parameters here. Like for example, enter the digits of what you want, the numbers, and it will give you. Okay, like for example, let me show you. See. Here, first you have this program. This is a very basic program. You first give a keyword def, and then you use you give a function name. Here I have named it fun. Okay. Here it has here no parameters was required actually. Okay, I'll show you where parameters is required. Then you declare like x is equal to 5, y is equal to 10, then print xy, and then you call the function. Okay, after you call, you have to print the function also. Then it will print 5 comma 10. Okay. Similarly, this also. Okay, the restaurant is open. Okay, you have to write the statements. Like for example, based on the criteria. Okay, maybe I'll give some conditional statements. If door completed, okay, then elif hired, employees hired, elif interior designing done, elif investment done, okay, marketing done, everything is done. Okay, things are okay. People have joined on the first day, and now you start calling the customers. So you print restaurant is open. Okay, so you may use some conditional statements or loops. Okay, things like that in the between, and whenever you need to call the function, you just write this rest. Okay, in between there can be hundreds of lines of code. Anything doesn't matter. But whenever you need to call this particular function, you will not write all the lines of code repeatedly. Okay, some lines, some problems maybe like 10 lines, 20 lines of code. Not every time you need to find a solution, you have to write 10 to 20 lines of code. You will just call the function, pass the parameters, and things are done. Okay. Like for example, here in this problem, def keyword. Okay. Here I have given print details, a function name, and then I have passed some parameters. What ID, name, and price. Okay. Like for example, product name and product ID, and let's say the price of the product. Okay. So then I'll just print this in this manner. So whenever I will call the function print details, it will come in this manner, right? So whenever I'm calling the function, now see here, this is done here. Now I'm calling the function print details. Okay. There I'm passing the parameters. In place of ID, it has to be 101. In the name, since it's string, I'll give it ABC, and then a price, say 100. Okay. And just give the print. Okay, print function. See, this print details and this print function is different function. Okay, print function is different. Print details function I have just made it here. Okay, but you cannot make a function called print here because you cannot use reserved keywords, of course. Okay, then then keyword arguments. Okay, these are for definition sake. Just know it. Now default arguments, they allow us to define functions with parameters that are predefined values. Okay, and there are keyword arguments, and it allows us to specify arguments by the parameter names regardless of their order. Means using keyword arguments. Okay, you may write this in any form like Python first 2025 later. Yes, you have a doubt, please ask.
Yes. So in the previous statement,
Yeah.
whatever you have written inside the brackets in blue color,
Huh.
so are those the things that we are giving as an input?
Here, these are parameters. Okay, not input. These are parameters. Okay, based on these parameters, you will get the output, but this is not the input. Okay, this is the input here. When you call the function, okay, here
Okay.
is the input. And today, we will do problems on functions only. Uh, things will be more clear. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, more the various type of problems we will do. So mainly this was the thing. Okay, these were some problems we did yesterday, but today we will do practice problems on functions. Let's say. Okay. Say func.py. Okay. So let's. I have a target of completing like 10 questions. No, not 10 questions. Like 5 to 6 questions that will do the job. Okay. Let's say. Yeah. First we will do return multiple. Yesterday I will share yesterday's video link. I have forgot to do that yesterday. Okay. I'll share that and also today's. Then you can see both the videos and things will be clear, more clear. Okay. Yeah, so these are first. Okay. Return multiple values from a function. So we will create a function and then we'll return. Okay. So let's say I first give a keyword. Then let's say I make a function name called calculation. Okay. Then I pass it two parameters a comma b. Okay. Colon. And after that, here I will write our code. Okay. Your code. Okay. This is a simple thing. So you will do this res. Now I'm declaring a variable. Okay. And there calculations. Okay. There. Now I can give it here like 40 10. Okay. You can do it differently every time. Let's say okay. Print RDS. Okay. Now here is some kind of error. Okay. The error is variable res view problem. Calculations is not defined by no okay, sorry, calculation. It's calculation here. Okay. One is done report undefined variable. What is this happening? Uh, is it a reserved keyword res? Res. Let's say result. Okay, I'll just change it. Result. Hmm, calculation. Okay, here you do addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay, do these four things. Add. Jeet, write this code. Four. Do these four things here. In the place of your code. Okay, write it and send in the chat box. You also have to return the expression. Remember. You started doing it. Aliram, you also try. Okay, I'll solve this. It's basically easy thing. You
Mhm.
just write the code for like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division of two variables of how we do it the usual way. Okay, that is the only thing you have to do inside, and the return statement. You have to just write return and then the name of the variables. Vijit has sent something. Function to perform addition. Don't you have done it separately? Just do it in one. Only in that. That is the motto of functions. You have to reduce the redundancy. You should not write it every different time. Okay. In this one only, like def calculation a comma b. Okay, or num1 num2 whatever. Inside that hashtag you code I have written. Inside that you have to make it. You don't. That is the purpose of functions. You don't have to write all the functions separately every time. And the purpose of this. Oh, sure. Yeah, I just saw it. Sorry, I was mute. What I'm saying is, see, you have done it in different functions, right? This is not the way. The purpose of function is to reduce code redundancy. Okay. So what you have to do is inside this that I have given na this this def calculation. Okay, inside that you have to write the code for addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, right? Okay, and then you pass you know these two numbers 40, 10, whatever. Okay, write in one piece of code. Then later you can call the functions as you like it. Okay, so do it that way. Do this in one piece of code. Did have you understood? Did have you understood what I've said? Alia ma'am, did you understand? Or should I just do it?
I can't see your screen, so
No, I'm not share. I'm not sharing my screen. I'm
yeah.
seeing the chat box. Jeet has sent something, right?
Okay, okay.
Yeah, see, Jeet has sent like def add underscore numbers. Okay, now this is correct when you are targeting for like different functions for different purposes. It's okay. But my question was inside one function only, the function should be able to return multiple values, multiple results, right? That is
Okay.
a yeah target. So what I'm saying is inside this given the piece of code that I have given in the chat box. I have pinned it also. Def calculation a comma b. Then in the part hashtag u code, there you will write 4 lines of code for addition subtraction that thing. Then you will return it. Okay.
So maybe after defining, we can, after the colon, we'll just write add 1 plus 2, then next line subtract 1 minus 2. And
Try
then
it and
finally,
yeah, just try once and send in the chat box. Let me see. Then I'll do it.
actually, I'm on two different systems. Wait.
Okay, okay, I'll show you. Fine. Wait, just wait. Just simply what you will do is, let's say you have given add equals to a plus b, then sub equals to a, sorry, plus b, right? That's a div equals to a divide b. Okay, and then what you will do is return these values. Return, okay, add sub now div. Okay, now when you run it, yeah, you will get all the answers, right? In a tuple format. Okay. Eh, when a single function returns gives you multiple values, it always gives you in a tuple format. Okay. So if you change it here, like for example, okay, see the main piece of functions code is done here, this selected part. I hope you can see my screen, right? Now, whenever you need to call this function, okay, like for example, you need to do multiple calculations all at once, okay, then you don't have to write again addition, subtraction, okay, you will just call this result, sorry, calculation, okay, you may not like give this also, okay, just give print here and then here, that will also do the job, okay, you save it, you run. Just give me a minute to call this come. Just give me a minute. হ্যালো, হ্যালো, হ্যালো। ক্লাস নিচ্ছি আমি তোকে ০.৫ ঘন্টা পরে ফোন করছি ৯:৩০। Okay. Yeah, sorry. Okay. See, this returns the result. So from one function, you return multiple values. Okay. So once you write this, then in between you may write 5,000 lines of code. Doesn't matter. Okay. There are 5,000 lines of code, and suddenly you need to use uh, a function. You need to calculate again like these all these things. Okay. Then you can just simply write print calculation 44010. Since it is already you have made the function, you just need to call the function. Okay. This step is called call the function. Okay. And this step is the creating the function. Okay. Making the function, whatever. Creating the function. Have you understood now? Or just simply I'll share in the chat box also this line, this one. Run it on your system also. See if it is coming the result. Okay. Ali ma'am and Jeet, have you understood now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Then we will go to the next problem. Okay. Our next problem will be let's say create a function as a default argument. Okay. Create a function with a default argument. So let's say understand this problem. Okay. Write a program to create a function. Now this will clear most of your doubts. Okay. Let's say you make with show employee. Okay. You will make a function with this only with the following specifications. So the specifications will be it should accept the employee's name and salary. Okay. Then it should display the display both the name and salary. Once it should accept and then it should show also. And then if the salary is not provided in the function call, it should default to let's say 9,000. Okay, the salary part. Okay, so this is the question. Now let me give in the chat box also. Try this on your end and tell me. Okay, try this on your end.
I didn't understand the difference between the first sentence and the second sentence.
Which one? This one.
Like
It
it
should
should,
accept. Okay.
yes.
It should accept the employee's name and salary means using a function. It will ask, okay, the what is the employee's name and salary. So when you will call the function, you have to give the parameter what is the employee's name in string format, of course, and the salary. Then the next line means once you give this, it should display means once means now the system will show you the result. Okay, means this is a print function you will use. Okay, of course, means you have to use a return expression, then you have to use the print function. Okay, like in the previous problem. Okay, it is accepting the parameters. Okay, you do the coding part and then you return the expression, then you print it, so it will display, right? Now the result, it will display the results using these parameters. So this is accepting the parameter and displaying the parameter. Okay, And if the salary is not provided, like for say if I am not giving this, in this case scenario, this will give an error. Okay, but write the code in such a way that it will give a default value of 9,000. Okay, like if it is blank, okay, if no parameter is given, then it will default to 9,000. So try to do this. I'll give you 5 minutes. Okay, screen is visible now. Hmm. Solution part. Okay, so first we'll give a keyword, then show underscore employee as given in the question. Now here we will pass the parameters name and a salary. Okay, now let's say salary. Now here the third part actually has to be done first. How? It's simple. You just fix the salary to 9,000 here itself and job done. Then you will simply do print. Okay, no calculation is required, so only one statement is required, nothing to return here. Okay, so name, you write name. Okay, and then comma again, salary, you write salary. Okay, that's all you have to write here. Okay, nothing more. You don't have to return anything. Okay, function is created. Now you just have to call it anytime you want. Like for example, now let's say restaurant management system you have, or a staff management system. Consider this as your staff management system. Okay, you have an office, you have and your boss has come and asked you कि let's say चलो यहाँ पे कुछ और ऐड कर देते हैं, like say department, let's say department. Okay, and okay, here I'll add department. Okay, and then sorry, department, comma, done. Okay, department salary. Oh, sorry. No, it's okay. So now department. Okay, now here whenever your boss is asking ki give for an employee name or something, okay, you just call the function. Okay, and you let's say give name, your name Alia, and then comma, let's say your department, again your department will be in string only. That's HR, you're in HR department for say, and your salary is let's say to 12,000 per month. Okay, for example. So when you show this, it will print Alia department HR salary 12,000. Now what the third part means, now per se again call this show employee. Okay, now let's say here, oops, let's say a Jeet. Okay, let's say his department is from marketing. Okay, and you don't know his salary, leave it. Okay, so if you don't know one salary, okay, you run and see, it will give you the salary as 9,000 by default. How? Because we have already set the salary here. Now if you give the department also, like for say department is sales and salary is 9,000. Now you don't pass this also, let's say another to employee, and then per se a name. If there's another student called Geneva, and you give nothing for Geneva, you give nothing, no department, no salary range. Now when you pass it, okay, we call the function, it will give you Geneva department sales, by default it's set, and then his salary 9,000. Have you understood now?
Yes. So what I did different, instead of
Okay,
show, defined a function and then I gave the return statement.
okay,
And
yeah. So
after that, I
huh,
gave the print statement.
okay. So if it gives the result, the code is right. Okay,
Yeah,
if it, yeah,
it is
it's giving the
giving
result,
me.
right?
Yes. So what I didn't understand, the print statement here is
Hmm.
basically a type of input that we are giving.
No,
Mm.
print statement is basically output only here. Okay, it here the print statement is made for the creating the function, and it is made in such a way you don't have to print when you're calling the function next time. Okay, like for example, you could have done this here also. If you would have done print and calculations are addition and name added these variable names, then you didn't have to do it here print. You just have to
Mhm.
call the function calculation and it is done. Okay, so there are two types of doing this, so no issues.
But it is not
Yeah.
printing like if I'm just writing the name and
Mm-hmm.
not the salary, it is
Hmm.
not giving me the return as 9,000.
Yeah, you may not have given the default here as 9,000.
Yeah, and no, I gave that.
You gave that, it's still not giving. Can you give the code here in the chat box, please?
Working fine.
Okay, so I think that is so I think like this is enough for clearing the concept. Now, see, I am forwarding those questions, the 60 questions I have given till today. Whatever we
Okay.
have discussed in the class, you should be able to do all of them. Okay, but I will do those questions in the class also. Okay, so let me just reshare it. Please wait. Please practice them, and that way your your concepts will be more clear. And now we will dive into the uh, advanced part, so I will give more questions there.
Okay.
Biocode, biocode fusion. I have reshared the questions. Okay, please start
Mm-hmm.
practicing them. That's you should be able to do 60 all of the, if not all of the 60, at least 50 to 55 questions you should be able to do. Few problems maybe seem a bit difficult. So let's see. Okay, I'll give the solutions later when you will do all of them.